Shopify Vice President Lauren Padelford put it well when he likened the COVID-19 pandemic to a time machine. He suggested that what it did is it brought the 2030s forward to the 2020s. And this is so fundamentally true. And the events of recent years have seen the future arrive well ahead of schedule. I mean, the world today looks very different to what it did in 2019. And this creates enormous opportunities for those that are prepared and equipped. Now, when I released the first edition of the New Now back in April 2021, my goal was to identify the trends that the pandemic had sped up and explore what a post-COVID world was going to look like. Little did we know what lay ahead. As it turned out, the idea of being post-COVID was further off than most of us realized at the time, and that accelerated pace of change was really only just getting started. Now, as an indication of this, back in April 2021, for instance, very few, if any of us, had actually heard of non-fungible tokens or NFTs, and there was no indication on the horizon at all of what would become known as the Great Resignation, this challenge to attract and retain talent. Even more significantly, the word or the term metaverse didn't even exist in the business lexicon, and the idea of Facebook being renamed Meta would have seemed bizarre and unthinkable at the time. And so it seemed only right that I revisit and revise this book in 2022. And what a big undertaking that ended up being. Now, as an indication of how much has unfolded over the course of 12 months, the 2022 edition of the New Now is exactly twice the length of the initial publication and features a number of brand new chapters and trends that just weren't even on the radar back in 2021. Now, to give you a sense of that, here are just three of the themes that I examine in detail in this revised edition. Number one, I look at the rise of synthetic reality and the metaverse and what this whole trend means as a change that is honestly more revolutionary than the introduction of mobile devices and even the internet. Our second theme I examine in detail is what the future of work will be and how the most visionary leaders and organizations right now are successfully fostering culture, engagement, and meaningful innovation and collaboration when leading hybrid and remote teams. And that's easier said than done. A third theme that I look at is how to decode Generation Z or Generation Z and ride the demographic tidal wave of opportunity that this young group represents as your future customers and also your future talent. Now, these three themes are just sort of the tip of the iceberg. The book outlines 10 game-changing trends that no organization or leader can afford to ignore, ranging from the central importance of sustainability to the impending impact of blockchain, robotics and AI. I also take a detailed look at how COVID has altered consumer expectations and behavior and which of these shifts are set to be permanent. Now, the reality is the pandemic has fundamentally changed the business and the social landscape in ways that we're only just beginning to understand. As the old proverb says, you cannot find new treasure if you're using an old map. And as we look to the future, we cannot rely on tactics, tools or mindsets simply because they've served us well in the past. There is tremendous opportunity in a post-COVID world for those that are prepared and those that know where to look. And that is the focus of this revised edition of this book, to give you a keen insight into what has changed, a sneak peek of what lies ahead, and a game plan for winning in the new now.